You're listening to NacChat with Amy Mahaffey, straight from the city of Nacogdoches, where we chat all things Nac. We make any topic fun, and I'll take you behind the scenes of the oldest town in Texas. You're listening to NacChat with Amy Mahaffey, straight from the city of Nacogdoches, where we chat all things Nac. We make any topic fun, and I'll take you behind the scenes of the oldest town in Texas. Okay, it's our first podcast.
Hi.
Hi, I'm so excited.
So excited. Awkward.
I know. We literally talk like this every day of the week, but the microphone's on and the pressure's on, I guess. I don't know.
But we'll make it work.
That's funny.
Stick with us and we'll get better, I promise.
Yeah, this is good. My dream was to be a radio show host.
Hey.
I always thought I had a face for radio. Don't do
well,
your hair.
you know, now we have a TV channel now too, though, so you have a face for TV, not a face for radio.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But this is fun because I think podcasts are like the new news article.
Absolutely.
And we still love the newspaper, but
yes,
so much at the city can get done by a simple conversation. We've learned this over the years. And so I think that having a conversation that maybe no one's listening to, I hope people are listening, but these conversations into cyberspace are kind of a fun thing to do.
Yeah, we don't know who's listening. That's kind of exciting.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll start tweeting us, though.
Hey,
because
yes. What's our Twitter handle?
At City of Nac.
I love it.
And we're going to start reading tweets at the end of every show, which is going to be awesome. So maybe people will send us some love.
Yes, not mean tweets.
No, but we do like mean tweets because we've got some real humdingers here at the end. So I'm excited to get there. But first, let's share with everyone at home. This is our first podcast. Why are we doing this? Where did this idea come from?
Because, and we haven't introduced ourselves. This is Amy and Larissa.
Oh, yeah. You can tell we're really good at this. That's awesome. This is Amy Mahaffey, and I'm the Communications Director and Main Street Director for the City of Nacogdoches. And this is our brainchild, our new brainchild.
And I am Larissa Philpott, and I am the Planning Director for the City of Nacogdoches. This started because Amy and I constantly are looking for ways to carry our conversations. You know, the conversations that you have with your friends and you fix all the world's problems. We were looking for ways to communicate those fixes that we found and those, hey, this is a cool thing that's going on in the city. We're looking for a way to communicate those to the citizens in Nacogdoches.
And it's my secret way of world domination to be a radio star.
There you go. Slip those subliminal messages in
with better hours because, you know, they have to get up really early. And
yeah, but they only work like 4 hours a day.
And they don't make any money. So noble profession, but I'm out on that deal. So I think this podcast is going to be awesome. And it's exciting to do the first one with you as the guest because you get it. Because I've floated this idea to a few of our favorite characters in the city, and they're like, you're doing what? You have, what is this called? And I had to explain to one individual in particular that you have a podcast app on your phone and go to the search bar. And the question was, my phone has a search bar.
Can I guess the individual?
Yeah.
Was it Dan?
Yes, it was Dan. Dan Taravella at the police station, who's awesome.
Yes.
And I want him to be a guest on my show.
Yes.
Super bad. So
if this is the first episode you're listening to, please make sure after you finish listening to this one that you listen to anything that has Dan Taravella.
Because he's awesome.
He's awesome. He's funny.
Yep.
And he loves what he does. And so
he's good at what he does.
He's very good at what he does, and he's got a lot of great stories. A lot of great insight into the way the police department works.
And I think that's a perfect segue into today's topic, which is kind of the city of Nacogdoches and our cast of characters, is what I've kind of coined it. When I started, I came from the 4-H organization, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. I was finishing grad school at A&M, and I was getting married to my now husband, who's a professor at Stephen F. Austin. And I had to find a job, and I had literally no knowledge of what happened at a city. I did not understand anything. But I knew how to communicate different topics. I knew about events. I knew the way of the world in mass communications. And so I was very lucky to be able to have this job, and I've learned a lot. And we've kind of talked about, I saw like the smudges on the wall when I started.
Right. It was refreshing to have somebody, because folks that come to work for the city, we all happen to stay for a long time. If you get a job with the city, it's a great job and it's a great community, and so we've all been here a long time. And so when Amy started working with us, we were all just like, oh wow, we've been doing it that way forever because that's the way we've always done it. And Amy pointed those things out to us that were things that needed a fresh set of eyes. And you were able to point out things to us and see things in the way that all of our citizens probably see them because they're not in City Hall every day. And so it was kind of fun to go through that process with you and learn that process.
Yeah, and I remember very early on in this job, Jim Jeffers, the city manager, he said, we need to work on reaching out to our citizens. And I didn't get that. And I didn't even understand the subject matter. And I laugh looking back now. We'd go to lunch and he would go, well, what are your ideas? And I didn't even understand. I did not understand what we did. And so that's a lot of what this podcast is going to be is this is what we do. I teach a class at SFA, and I was telling them the other day, people don't know that the police department and the fire department are within the city. And so those are kind of like our hometown heroes that we love that save kitties from trees. And they think that's a different entity from the city. Right.
They'll say so-and-so works for the fire department and somebody else works for the city.
Yeah.
But they're both city employees.
But I also like how you talked about people have been here a long time. How long have you been at the city?
This is my 17th year.
There you go. And that's awesome. And I honestly did not think I would be here long. I thought this was going to get me to town and I'm peacing out. But I've been very refreshed and excited and I've learned to really love my job because of the quote-unquote cast of characters. I don't always love when citizens call and like curse me out on the phone because of construction I have nothing to do with. But I love the people we work with.
Right. That's what makes coming to work fun every day.
And I always get a little protective almost when we have some kind of crisis that happens because the city has over 300 employees. There's always something going on, and my job and my charge is to communicate that with the citizens. And so we live in a small town, and word travels fast, and things that go wrong, that inevitably happens. A few weeks ago, Corpus Christi was under like no drinking your water, don't get into the shower, something bad happened with the water, and that doesn't happen here. Thank goodness we have supreme and superior water, but things do happen. And sometimes things happen and it's really easy to kind of like blame the local government, the government is bad. And then you kind of peel back that curtain and you're like, oh, but these are real people that live here.
Right. I had a conversation with one of our staff today. We were talking about recent political controversies on the federal level. And something that came to mind was all of those people that work for the federal government and the city of Nacogdoches, they're all people. And I would say a large portion of the people you meet every day want to be good at their jobs. And they want to do good. And they want to be nice to people and take care of people and do good things. And so it's so easy on social media and things like that when you see problems like you were talking about in Corpus Christi to say terrible things about those folks that work there because you don't see them as human beings. You don't realize that guy who created that problem in the Corpus Christi water department, that's probably the worst day of his life.
Yeah.
Because he really cares about his job.
And it wasn't on purpose.
Right.
It was a total, when Steve Bartlett's our city engineer, when he tried to explain it to me, it was kind of complex. It was an accident. It was the perfect storm of accidents. And people were really going after the city of Corpus Christi.
Right.
So bless them. But,
yes.
And that brings to mind, we have had some recent controversies and some things that have happened here. And we did the best we could with the information that we had. And I don't know that we always have the right answers, but I always love when people can pick up the phone and call us. And that's the beauty of a small town,
Right. And that's something that speaking of the cast of characters, that's something that I appreciate about all of the executive staff, and it goes all the way down through all of the city staff, is you can pick up the phone and call the fire chief in Nacogdoches. You can walk into City Hall and find the city engineer. You can't do that in a lot of other towns, even other towns our size. We just have that culture of, an open door culture where if you want to talk to one of us, you call.
Please call.
And come see us, call us, email us.
And we'll fix it.
Yeah,
I mean, we
exactly.
had and I don't mean to, like, rub salt in old wounds, but the protest that took place, and we had the fire hydrant accident, is the best we could determine. That was an accident. And we had vetted that process and talked to the individuals in hand and really did our best to do our due diligence to make sure that the story we were telling was correct. And when the people that were actually on site that day came to City Hall the next day and visited us, they got hugs. We said we were sorry. I mean, it was really okay. The next day was the city council meeting, and one of those individuals came to city council and said, thank you for addressing it in the way that you did. In the meantime, things were going crazy on social media.
Right. All of those folks in social media who were only interacting in that social media bubble didn't get all of the information because they were just bouncing off of each other on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it was, and they weren't talking to the real human beings face to face that were involved in the story.
Well, and I noticed as the day went on, because again, like I said earlier, I get very protective of our people, and Steve Bartlett, he's down the hall from me. He is lives and breathes Nacogdoches. He loves people here. He knows everybody. He really cares about our community. And it's kind of, when I feel like those people are being attacked, like Mama Bear goes, I go into Mama Bear mode, I'm like, no, these are my people.
Right.
And it was interesting as the day went on, I started seeing, this conversation on social media, which we encouraged, by the way. We want people to say what they think, and so we don't want the message out there that we don't want people to say what they think, because that's the opposite of what we want. But we also want people to interact with us and believe us when we genuinely say things.
Right.
And I noticed as the day went on social media, I started seeing people I know personally who are my neighbors going, oh, the local government, oh, they suck. And I was like, hey, Amy Mahaffey here.
Yeah.
What's up? Here's what's really going on. Actually, why don't you give me a call? And I would call and talk to these people. It would be over very quickly because I could explain it in a way that you can't do in a text. Yep. You can explain it, which again circles us back to why we're doing the podcast, because now we get to retell this story. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
You know what time it is?
Time for the rumor mill.
Ta-da! Jazz hands.
Or we can keep that forever.
I like it. Let's get into it.
Okay.
Tweets. Let's look at Twitter. And this is going to be a segment that's coming up that we are going to do at every episode. So this is episode 1, and so we might have a different guest, hopefully Dan Taravella, next time. But you and I are going to dig into social media every week. And so we've kind of been digging around and trying to find some things that are just being discussed about Nacogdoches. And some of these things are really funny.
It is. And I don't think people ever would imagine that there's somebody who would search Nacogdoches on Twitter to find out what people are saying.
Tell the viewers at home, the listeners, that about the raining in Nacogdoches.
Oh, this one made me so happy. I was trying to figure out if there were any flooding problems in Nacogdoches, and I could not leave my office because I was waiting on a phone call. And this is an odd way of doing it, but I went to search Twitter, because if we've had street flooding problems before, the college students they jump on Twitter and they start talking about driving through rainwater. And so I just searched Nacogdoches rain, and I found a Twitter account that is literally rain in Nacogdoches. And so when people say, complain about it raining for too long in Nacogdoches, this little account fires back at him and tells him how much he loves him, and he can't wait to see him again tomorrow.
The sun will come out tomorrow. He has 4 followers, though.
I think I'm one.
So he has 3.
It's probably his mom and me. And
but I want him to have more followers because he's clever and funny.
Yeah, Rain and Nacogdoches, follow it. There's a bunch of funny Nacogdoches Twitter feeds.
So we get some love occasionally. I've got one here. I love SFA and I love Nacogdoches.
Yay!
So that's nice. We love, it's like a hug in under 442 characters.
Yeah.
This one, as we can all relate to this at some point, especially if you've been downtown. Ah, yes, the sweet smell of dog food in Nacogdoches.
And see, that's part of Nacogdoches history.
Hey,
we are so super
that
proud.
That smells like
of,
money to some people.
Exactly. We are so proud of animal science products.
Yeah.
And that every bag of that pet food that's made there is shipped all over the world.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they're all stamped with Nacogdoches, Texas. Like, they ship to countries all over the world.
That's awesome.
And that's super cool. So that's what I think of when I smell that when we walk out of City Hall some days.
Yeah. This one is, and I don't know, I haven't lived here long enough to know this, but I love, can we all just remember the time a baby beaver came to Nacogdoches and the literal whole town went insane over it?
The literal whole town.
It's literal. Instead of the figurative whole town.
The literal whole town. Not the story about Coal Town. The literal whole town. And I just realized I said animal science products. It's actually Texas Farm Products.
Oh.
I said the wrong name. Shout out to Texas Farm Products and Animal Science Products.
Sorry. Double plug there, I
double
guess.
shout out, sorry.
The beaver thing, though, for real, I don't know.
I missed this. Okay,
happened.
if you guys have pictures of the baby beaver that came to Nacogdoches,
we want to see it.
Yes. Was this like wildlife biology thing, or did she just like swim across the creek and wander on the intramural fields? Like, we need
proof.
Video proof of
You
this.
can tweet us at City of Nac, the picture.
Yes.
So this one, as the city planner, is interesting to you. You'll appreciate this. Nacogdoches can't get a Target or a decent mall, but we sure can work on building another dollar store.
Yeah, see, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother podcast. I could fill up a whole different podcast with that. Yeah, our mall is privately owned.
Yeah.
Dollar stores, privately owned. They, if you own a piece of property and you want to put in another donut shop, we've heard lots of folks talk about donut shops. They're profitable business models, and so private property owners are allowed to build what they want.
Right.
They're allowed, if they have an agreement with that dollar store business, they can build it there.
And so, tell me more about the mall. We can't control who goes in. I think there's this stigma out there and this belief that the city is telling people, like, I guess they think you and I are in here going, you want to put a Route 21 in there? No, you can't come.
Yeah, are you kidding me? We would be so excited about that.
Yeah, and so I think that this guy that owns the mall,
he's happy with it the way it is.
He likes it the way it is.
Yep.
So
and the city that's a really common misconception that I deal with a lot. And that the Nacogdoches Economic Development Corporation deals with too, is folks think that the city has a huge amount of control over the businesses that locate here. And while the city can offer incentives to businesses to locate here or to grow, the city doesn't say yes or no to businesses that come. We can call them and try to encourage them to come, and we can offer tax incentives and things like that.
Which we do.
Yeah, but never does the city of Nacogdoches say, no, we don't think you should come build in Nacogdoches. That's not a thing that would happen.
Ever. That wouldn't help anybody.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Even if it's the 40th dollar store, it's private development. So we don't have any control.
And we like when businesses, regardless of what they are, even if there are a lot of donut shops, we like when small business owners are successful.
Right. And that's what I always think about donut shops. All of our donut stores here in town are small business owners. Even Dunkin' Donuts, which is a chain, is a small franchisee owner. Mm-hmm. They own a couple of stores. So Nacogdoches is all about small business.
And we want them to do well.
Yeah.
Because you never know. They could decide after they get cash flow in a donut shop to open something else.
Right.
That's what business owners do.
A restaurant or, something different. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Donut shop owners keep the same hours as radio show hosts.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm going to do that either.
I think they get there like 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's really early.
Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Also, something that we can't control is our next tweet that we found, which is, deer and Nacogdoches need to chill. I can't drive with them around. So somebody out there is having a rough day.
Yeah. I hope they missed the deer.
They need to chill.
Yeah.
Those deer.
Tweet after you see the deer.
Yeah,
please.
that's
Don't
like
be
a whole other
driving.
PSA situation we might need to work on.
Don't tweet and drive because you may hit a deer.
Unless you're tweeting us. No, I'm kidding.
No,
but we do
no.
want you to tweet us
No tweeting and
at City of Nac or Facebook or Instagram or like the theme of the show. Just call us on the phone.
Yeah.
We're pretty cool peeps. And hopefully in the next episode you'll get to meet more cool peeps. So we're very excited you tuned in. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.